hear me okay?
Yep, this will work. Let's see.
Cool.
So go over to Instagram. Come on, Instagram. How many times do I got to hit the button? There we go. Hey, everybody. Happy Wednesday night. We're here with Kevin down in Atlanta. Wait a second. Make it easier for people to speak to you. Adding a call now button to your posts. I don't want people to call me. Nice try, Facebook and X. All right, everybody. Happy Wednesday. We are getting ready to record Monday's trip report with Kevin in Atlanta. So make sure we're good over here. And as people drop in, we will see where they are and get going.
Cool.
Oh, man.
Who you got this Saturday in
We
Tuscaloosa?
are on a bye this week. Yes.
No. I know you're a little bit of a Bama fan too. Who do you got versus Georgia?
Bama for sure.
Yeah.
In Tuscaloosa? Yeah.
My buddy messaged me today. This is the first time since 2007 that they're home underdogs.
And they won that game against Tennessee 42-17.
Okay. My friend said it was LSU, but I'm not. Yeah.
No, that's what I heard. Well, that's what I heard this morning.
Okay.
They're underdogs to Tennessee, and they won 42-17. Now, I could be wrong.
Okay.
I have to do some research. Could be wrong, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that was Saban. That's Saban's first year, I think, but maybe not. I'll look. Yeah, Milroe's playing well, and that team, that Williams, a 17-year-old kid. Whew,
Yeah.
17.
Yeah. That's unreal.
I look at Mallory. Mallory will be 17 in like 3 months.
Right.
I'm like, because now I have like perspective. I'm like, God, she has a hard time. Like, she has a hard time judging how close to get to the curb when she parks her car. Like,
yeah,
because obviously we park our cars. I park my Jeep in the garage. Pam parks hers in the driveway, and she parks on the street across the street.
Sure.
We live on a cul-de-sac.
Right.
So I go out there in the morning. Every other morning, I walk outside. The other mornings, I run on the treadmill. When I go out there at like 5:15 in the morning, when I look to see where she parked the night before, half the time I'm like, she parked in the middle of the dang street. I'm like, Mallory, you have to get closer to the curb, because her flyer on her cheer squad, her good friend, she hit a curb and blew out her front and back tires and busted the rims like 3 months ago. So now she's got this fear of curbs.
Yeah.
But I'm telling her, I'm like, Mallory, your car is in the middle of our cul-de-sac. Like, hardly any cars can go by. Like, I know there's just like 5 other neighbors, but they probably don't want to have to go the other way around the circle. Then this, that Alabama kid that's like a year older, he's catching bombs from Jalen Milroe all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, with other large men coming right at him.
Absolutely, so, yeah. Like, it cracks me up.
My kids are 8. My girls are 8 and 10, and my wife is just hoping that every car is self-driving by the time they hit 16.
Amen. I'm telling you, it's find my friends. You just stare at it as soon as they get in your car.
I know.
Because I love where we moved to back in 2019, where we live now, because it's kind of more of like it's suburban. It's about 20 miles outside of St. Louis to the west, and it's beautiful. We live right on the Missouri River, like with bluffs and stuff. But if you go west of where we are, it is just 2-lane roads right on the river, and it's like up and down, windy, just super skinny, dangerous roads. It's beautiful. I mean, it is gorgeous, but it is beautiful, airy, scary roads. And like, of course, Mallory got a job about 20 miles down the scary road. Like, and that's where she also coaches. That's where the junior Vikings practice, and she coaches cheer out there. She has to go down this road like 4 or 5 times a week, and it just scares me to death. 2-lane road. It's 55 mile speed limit. It's like, oh my God. Because I remember how I was when I was 16. I mean, I drove an MG though. We got her an Escape, but still, it's not good. I was, he's pray to God and hope she's safe.
That's it, man. Yep.
All right, let's do this thing and have some fun. All right.
Yeah.
2564. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2564 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Monday to you. Hope you had a great weekend and hope everybody dried out here in the Midwest and down in the Southeast. Helene did bring us a little bit of rain, a lot of wind, and especially for our guest today, who's coming to us from down in the land of Ricky, down in Atlanta, Georgia. And a little behind the scenes today. We're recording this one, obviously, the Wednesday before. That's when we record our trip reports, and you have a little bit of time to edit them and get them out for your Monday morning commute. But as we record this one, we're recording this show on National Daughters Day, and you're talking to two girl dads. So shout out to my two daughters, Paige and Mallory. Two of my, love them. I said two of my favorite daughters. I always tease them because I say my favorite daughter is actually Riley, the dog. Right. Most days because she doesn't ask for money, just milk bones, and they're a lot cheaper and just never lets me down. She's just always there. It is, just always. You can't go wrong with Riley. I'm always her favorite. She just comes to me no matter what. Great. She's the best daughter ever. I always kid him about that. But shout out Mallory, shout out Paige. You're the bomb on National Daughters Day. But we're going to talk about a daddy-daughter trip that just took place last week or a couple weekends ago at this point as you're hearing this show. So joining us from down in Atlanta, we have Kevin. Kevin, what's going on today?
Hey, Mike. How's it going, man? Thanks for having me on, and glad I can pinch hit there as we're approaching the MLB playoffs. Shout out to my daughters, Emily and Haley.
That's right. And you have a baseball team that actually made the postseason, unlike our team. We used to have the postseason here in St. Louis. Now it's a faded memory.
Well, I don't tell too many people this, but I am originally from just north of Philadelphia, so I'm a big Phillies fan. So I'm in the minority here in Atlanta as a Phillies fan, but so I'm loving that the fact we just won our division for the first time in 11 years.
I grew up a kind of a semi-Phillies fan because my dad caught one of the Phillies pitchers all through my youth.
John Denny, right?
John Denny, that's right.
I remember you telling the story.
Yes, so I grew up, with the Phillies gear on. People are like, why you got Phillies gear on? I'm like, because I have connections. But I'm a Cardinal fan at heart, even though harder and harder to be a Cardinal fan lately. Oh man, but
ups and downs.
Let's MIZ. It's football season. Let's go. So let's just. I want this to be a happy podcast, and if I start,
we'll make it that. We'll get there.
Crying in 30 seconds. That's right. We're going to talk Disney and have a good time. But National Daughters Day, and we're going to get to talk about this daddy-daughter trip. And when you told me about it, you shot me an email, said we just did this trip, and I got to call in on a Sunday night and talk about this. And I had a last-minute cancellation. I said, let's don't talk on a Sunday night. Let's do this for this coming Monday because it was just this trip had just happened. And this is the essence of what our show is about. It's about talking about all the fun times you can have at Disney destinations and the connections you can have with those you love. So before we jump into the trip, though, give our listeners a little background of what's Disney like in your household? Two daughters, your wife. You get Disney Plus nights. Do you guys, what is the Disney atmosphere around your household?
So we did our first trip, and you and I might have done a show on this, or I called in, whatever. We did a cruise in 2020. We actually got back March 1st, 2020, right before the world shut down. And the girls were 3 and 5 at the time, and did stay at Contemporary before the trip, and we stayed at Coronado at the end of the trip, and a couple park days, and they just fell in love with it. We skipped 21, but then we did an 18-person trip in 22. The 4 of us went in 23. We did a cruise earlier this year with 14 of us. And so you could say, we've been bitten by the bug, and we enjoy a lot of it. Disney Hilton Head is a big stop of ours. So we've gone there a couple times. We love it down there. It's only a 4-hour drive away. But my wife wanted to take our oldest daughter on a 10-year-old trip, and they decided on Nashville because there's a bunch of things my 10-year-old Emily wanted to do in Nashville. And so I said to my youngest, Haley, who's my thrill seeker, I said, hey, Haley, why don't we go down to Disney World when Mom and Emily go to Nashville? And it was like, yeah, let's do that. So we just say it was the weekend of 2 weekends ago would be now, September 19th, 20th, that weekend. And we drove down. I picked her up from school on Thursday, and we stayed till Sunday, and we had a good time.
It's gonna be fun talking about a short trip, a condensed trip, but you guys got a lot done
Oh man,
and just making the most out of every moment. So we got a lot to talk about. But I can't let Mallory hear the show now because she is dying to go to Nashville. And
okay,
we're trying to make it happen.
yeah,
With her cheer schedule, she doesn't get a lot of time off. She has mandatory practices, games, stuff like that. Really, we got to wait till after basketball season,
sure.
probably. But Nashville's high on her list. She's a big country music person. She goes to all the
Yeah,
concerts and stuff. So, yeah, she wants to get down there. So she'd be super jealous. She'd rather go there, I think, than Disney at this point. Just for right now. I mean,
right.
she's a 16-year-old girl.
I
So
understand.
look, I'm telling you, just saying. But and I keep telling her, once you're 21, it'd probably be better. But she's 16. She wants to get some boots and hats and hear all the music. So anyway, let's talk about this trip coming together. So I like it. Like mom takes the older daughter, you take the younger daughter. You guys are gonna go have a great weekend. How hard was it to throw a trip like this together, kind of last minute?
It wasn't too bad. They had planned it earlier, probably in the summertime, so it wasn't too bad to throw it together. And and I said to Haley, like I said, we've been what 3, 4 times in the last 3, 4 years, and I said, look, you just tell me what you want to do, and we'll do it. We'll book lightning lanes, we'll book the single, what is it now, multi pass and the single pass, and whatever you want to do. And so we had never been to Port Orleans, Riverside. So I said, that's a nice resort. Let's go check that out. Um, and and we wanted to see, and I told you in the show notes, we wanted to see Yehaa Bob. I wanted to see him perform down there. And so that's one of the reasons we picked Riverside. And we had 2 days, and I said, let's just. I know Slinky Dog is her favorite ride, so we were going to go to Hollywood Studios, and I said we got park hopper passes, and so we bounced around, and in 2 days we did all 4 parks and 25 rides, and we're quite exhausted by the end of the trip.
That's what it's about. When it's a condensed trip, you can just go hard and then go home. I mean, it's really
Yeah,
what it's about. I love it. So you also we're going to get to a Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Got to do that twice. So really, you kind of had that Bayou kind of feel with this quick
sure.
little weekend trip. I like with Riverside. Did you guys stay in Alligator Bayou? Did you guys stay in the mansions? And what did you think overall of the stay at Riverside? What was your opinion of the resort?
It was nice. It was. We got put where we were at Magnolia Bend, I
Yep.
believe. Um, we had the quiet pool right outside our door, and we hung out there for a little bit. It wasn't our speed, so we went to the main pool, um, and really just kind of hung out and did the water slide and did everything at the main pool one afternoon. We actually set some time aside to do that. Um, yeah, just a beautiful resort. And like I said, we wanted to go see Yeehaw Bob's show, and we ended up doing that the night we got there.
And you sent a picture of Bob and your daughter, and that is one of the things. I mean, I'm very lucky, and over the years, I've been going for quite a while, and I've gotten to know Bob. Personally, we've had some connections. He's done some shows like with we did that fundraiser in Indiana. We had the live show we did for Give Kids the World a
Yeah,
few years, and he would always go to that and perform at that, and I'd always go to his shows years after every single trip down to Walt Disney World, and he is a genuinely super nice guy. And one of the things though beyond that is that if you go to his shows and you go there early, and a lot of times I will, tell you if you want to go to his shows, get there early to get a decent seat because it does fill up in the River Roost pretty quickly.
yeah,
He will go around and talk with people before he performs, before he does a
yeah.
few sets throughout the night. And remarkably, he will remember people's names throughout the show while he's
Yes,
performing these high energy songs, banging
yes,
on the piano.
yeah.
And here's another thing, and I saw this happen because I've been following it. We're friends on Facebook, and he's friends with everybody on Facebook, but I follow his adventures. Tell us about because just to watch this gentleman play the
Yeah.
piano and sing and interact with the audience. I mean, he's sweating. He's in costume. It's unbelievable, like how awesome he is. But Kevin, tell us what he did while you were there because I still can't believe he can continue on like he did.
Yeah.
Right?
So he had a broken hand. He had a cat. He
What
had a
now? Are
cast.
you kidding?
He had a
Yeah,
cast on. I think he had 2 fingers coming out of the cast. I
he's
think.
playing the piano.
And I mean, he crushed it. He rocked it out. And you're right. He went around. We got there. We actually got there a little late because I had forgotten about it, and then remembered. Oh, it was like 8:20, and we just eaten a little dinner. And I said, hey, let's go see this show. This guy who I think he's really good. He went around to every table. and
Yep.
he stopped. We only got two chairs sitting on the side. Haley and I got two chairs. And he came over, well, where are you from? You know, and everything, took the picture with Haley, and you're going to be my youngest person here tonight, but I want you to get into this and everything. And you know, he did every single table. And you're right, he remembered Bob and Sue had the anniversary, and it was their 30th anniversary, and it was Jim's birthday, and blah 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 blah. And I mean, he went crazy. And what was great was my dad is one of the biggest John Denver fans on the planet. And when he broke into Country Roads
Oh,
on the second song, my daughter knows the words to the song, and she was rocking out to it there. He played New York, New York, and an older lady from the audience came, hooked my daughter in the arm because he said, you know, all the ladies stand up and they're doing the kick line together.
oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, this is fantastic.
And really, that to me, and again, this is not me being preachy, but I think Walt Disney World needs these kind of things.
Mhm.
That it's not just something that's like, oh, it's cute. This is a necessity, because while Tiana's Bayou Adventure is great, and seeing the fireworks show over the castle is amazing. That's why we go. That's the marketing. But the stories that you go home with are these kind of things.
Yeah,
It's the show, the great entertainer at Port Orleans Riverside, maybe some entertainer you saw walking through Disney Springs.
yeah.
The live entertainment is just the stuff that really is makes the connection, I think, with you on a real personal level.
We walked into Hollywood Studios, and I know you've said this before, and this is why the thought was in my head as we are walking down on near Sunset Boulevard. I thought, wouldn't it be cool if just a camera crew jumped out and the director singled me out and started yelling, barking orders at me? I said, that would be so cool right now. And I actually had that thought when we were walking in that day.
Days gone by, but you know what? There's hope, because they brought
Yeah.
back the band to Animal Kingdom. I can never pronounce their name. It starts with a B.
Who
Barracuda.
is it?
It's not Barracuda, but it's like a
Okay.
it's that amazingly talented band that performs over in Animal Kingdom. They're
Okay.
great. They're going to be back Thursday through Sundays.
Okay.
And so, you know what? We all, not all of us, but a lot of folks really just get down when things are cut. And I get it.
Yeah.
I do too, because I'm like, I get a little frustrated. But when things come back like this, let's celebrate it. Let's
Sure.
hopefully start building momentum that we can do more of this.
Yeah.
So kudos to Disney for that. So we're gonna have live entertainment back at Animal Kingdom some days. Okay,
So
so
yeah, I was gonna say the first morning we were there, we were at Epcot, and I said she wanted to go see Figment over at Imagination. I said, yeah, let's walk over there, and just Eeyore, Tigger, and Geppetto just popped out, and we're just kind of hanging out there and everything. And Eeyore came over and took my daughter's hand, and the handler said, oh, he's just looking around for sticks. Do you want to go with him? And they went over looking for sticks, and Tigger started bouncing around with her up and down there, and it's just stuff like that you would like hope, just random stuff that just pops out of nowhere that kind of gives you, oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
100%, and it's a good read by the character handler there. Like, oh, let's make let's make this more than just a little quick picture. Let's
Yeah,
make this an interaction. Let's make this a memory. That's what
yeah,
I love to hear.
yeah,
Okay, so let's kind of go through it, because you were there for 2 days. You started out at First Park Epcot and kind of
yeah,
went there that morning. So give us some highlights.
yeah. So, and I'll tell you, like, one of my show notes that I said to you is like you had some of these pivoting moments, right? And so our plan, and I messaged you in about a question of what's the best way to get to International Gateway for rope drop, because we wanted to ride Ratatouille. So we got to Hollywood Studios. We go to get on the Skyliner, and it was broken to Epcot. And
Of course.
so we looked to the boat. We said, hey, the boat was sitting there at the dock. I said, hey, let's run to the boat. We run to the boat. The boat takes off and goes away. I said, well, let's walk over there. 85 degrees, very humid out. And well, we had a nice walk along the water there, and we just joked around and talked and chatted the whole 25 minutes. And when we get there, of course, Ratatouille was down the
Oh
moment we
my
got
gosh, strike three. The
it's like,
Skyliner, the boat, and the Ratatouille.
you just, and I just thought, it's one of those things. It's like, all right, well, you like Soarin'. Let's go over to there. We're going to probably walk right onto it. You like the Living with the Land ride. So do I. As you said, it's one of the best rides at Disney, and it is. Um, and then from there, we just kind of just walked around and just, said, okay. We didn't get on to Ratatouille, which is one of my favorite rides, but it's what it is. We had fun. And so that was kind of where our day went. Now, I will say we did book lightning lanes, and we got them for Hollywood Studios, but they were all in the afternoon. They were like 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the afternoon. Um, the lightning lanes that we got. So we just kind of just walked on to what we could at Epcot. I know we did Mission Space. We did the three Grand Fiesta Tour and just kind of hung out. She really didn't want to do Guardians. She did it on our last trip and she didn't really care for it that much. I said, that's fine. Do whatever you want.
Sometimes when your kid says they don't want to do something like an e-ticket like that, you're just like, that's
Right.
yeah. Honestly, I mean, if you're not, like dying to do it, it's just like, hey,
Right.
let's
Yeah,
move on and go
yeah,
on.
let's do that boat tour over in Mexico. Sure. Yeah, that's no problem.
So, I mean, I like though the way you got the proximity there with Epcot and the studios, and you're going to move easily from Epcot over to the studios, and you have
Yep.
your it's like money in the pocket with the lightning lanes booked. You're
Yeah,
literally
so we did it, and that was good because when we got over to the studios, we did, our lightning lanes for Star Tours, um, Toy Story Mania, Rise, and Slinky Dog were kind of all in a row, and we ended up sneaking Millennium Falcon in there as well. So we hit all the Toy Story and the Star Wars stuff, and she got to see the stormtroopers were kind of going at it with Ray, and one of the stormtroopers waved at her and all that stuff, and so we just enjoyed that over there. And we did have Space 220 booked for 4:30, the same time as Slinky Dog, but I was able to push it back to 6:30, snagging a reservation, so that was nice because we did go pretty hard from rope drop to about 5 o'clock, and so at that point I said, let's go back to the resort. Let's just go shower, chill out, and then we can head back to Epcot for dinner.
So, what do you guys think of Space 220? Because again, it's all we heard about forever before it opened, and we hardly ever talk about it. Did you guys like it?
But the reservations are near impossible to get.
Yeah.
And it was great. I really, I thought, oh gosh, do I want to pay the price, for the prefix dinner? And and we were just like, you know what, she wants to see it and everything. The one nice thing about it though, our reservation was 6:30, and the whole meal took 2 hours. By the time we sat down or the time we went up the elevator and we sat down and everything, it was 2 hours, but we needed that. We needed that kind of chill out time where, hey, look at the astronauts going by, look at the space shuttle going by. What did we talk about our day? What did we enjoy about our day? Oh, and the food I thought was fantastic. And I thought $79 for an appetizer, a great dinner, and a dessert, I thought that wasn't too bad. And so we enjoyed it. I would definitely go back again. I thought it was a great experience.
Yeah, and two, for a dad, like with his daughter, I mean, I'll just say this from my perspective, right? A 2-hour meal, like to have your daughter there, like with you to talk to for 2 hours, like that's money. Like that's money you don't mind spending. You know what I'm saying? Like it's great to have them there. You know what I'm saying? Like I would love for that meal the last 2 hours to be able to just be there with Corey and get to talk, catch up. Like, what'd you like today? How's things going? That's what this is all about. Like, you're totally making me want to do this. Like, take Mallory down when she gets, when cheer season's over or something. Because I've been able to do this with the girls. Like, we went when after COVID they had a restart on the cruises, and we did a media cruise together, and it was one of the first times ever we got to go, and just hang out, and God, I loved it because it was just like this. It was like two girls, and their dad. They enjoyed it, but I had the best time.
Now, I will tell guests, I will say, definitely understand restaurants before you go to see them. So there was a table next to us, and they had sat down. 6, 7 people were at the table, and then I looked over. 10 minutes later, they were gone, and I was just like, so the waitress was cleaning up their table. The server was cleaning up their table, and I said, "Hey, what happened over there?" And I'm just curious that anything. They didn't know it was a prefix dinner. It was they thought it was order a la carte and everything. And I was like, "Oh, that's too bad." I was like, "This is a really good meal. It's a cool place." That they just got up and left at that point. So you should always just look and see what it is ahead of time, just so you don't ruin an experience like that. I mean,
yeah,
kind of stuff for them.
Because the whole thing is it's it's not a character meal at 220, but it's almost like a dinner show, but there's no actors, but it's an experience. It's more than a meal. Yeah. But the food, when I was there too, I've been there twice. The food was good. I liked it.
Yeah. We had a cauliflower appetizer. Sorry. It was like, what's that? Go ahead. Say.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not a picky eater. I'll eat just about anything.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not a connoisseur of anything. I thought it was good. I think most things are good.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. Yeah.
All right. So did you kind of wrap the day there? I mean, did you stay and see the fireworks or go back, or what? How'd you do that?
No, because I knew we were going to do it all again tomorrow. And I knew we were going to hit the fireworks back at Magic Kingdom the next night. And I said, I said, hey, let's go back to the resort. We'll just kind of chill out. Let's get to bed at a decent hour. And it was great. I think we got back to the room by about 9:30 or so, and we got a good night's sleep and rolling for the next day.
That is glorious. That's a good
Yeah,
way to wrap up day one.
it
Okay, so
was.
day two, you start off with the Magic Kingdom, right?
Yeah, so we went there and again, with I said, what do you want to do to start the day? You tell me. And we she said she wanted to do Peter Pan. We already had a pass for Seven Dwarfs Mine Train later on in the morning. Our passes there were in the morning this time. We had Haunted Mansion at 9:30, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, Pirates, and then Tiana's, all kind of in a row, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, 12:30. And so she said, maybe Tron. I said, okay. I said, we did Tron in February when we were there, and she liked it. But she saw the line, which I didn't think was too long. She's like, I don't want to wait in that line. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Um, and then we were over by Fantasyland, and she wanted to do Peter Pan. I said, yeah, let's go do it. And what is ironic is that I looked at the app right when we get to Peter Pan, and Mine Train and Tron were both down. So we lucked out in that respect. We made the right decision in that respect. But you kind of have to pivot and go from there. My daughter is the type that you always have to have a plan, and you always have to keep going. And if you don't keep going, then she'll have the meltdown. She'll have so like you have to. I said, okay, after we do Peter Pan, we're going across the walkway to It's a Small World, and we walked onto there. And after that, we're going over to the Big Thunder Mountain, and after that, we're going to go get breakfast. And so we had the plan, and so we just moved and moved and moved. If we slowed down, or if there was not a plan, that's when she would have her meltdown.
And that's a great tip though for everybody to think about. You got to know your kid, right?
You got to know your kids.
Kid and you know your kid better than anybody, and you
Yeah.
got to implement that on a Disney vacation because
Yeah.
I mean it takes your normal routine. I mean, if a kid is very routine driven, you have to stick to that at Walt Disney World times 10. I mean, because
Yeah.
as an adult, I'm the same way. Like I'm very much into routine. So when I get down to Walt Disney World, it's hard for me to do things on the fly. I need to have like some kind of a schedule. I need to know kind of what I'm going to do. Now, do I have to be flexible? Yes, because just like you said, okay, Tron's down. Okay, well, I got to have a plan B. Oh, well, Seven Dwarfs is down. I wanted to do that. Okay, well, I got to have a plan C. But I have to have some idea of kind of the 30,000-foot plan of the day. What do I want to accomplish by lunch? Kind of
Absolutely.
stuff like that.
And that's what we did. I said, this is what we want to get done. I knew Tiana's was at 12:30. We did get, and like you said earlier, we got the virtual queue and we ended up riding around 11:15 in the morning. And so we got to ride it twice in that respect. But I knew we wanted to be out of there by like 12:30 because the day before she said to me, Dad, are we going to ride Flight of Passage or Avatar? And I said, I don't have a pass for that, but we could because it'll be a long wait if we go there in the middle of the day tomorrow. So we ended up getting a pass for about 5:30, 5:50 for Flight of Passage, which I think is the greatest ride on property. And so it allowed us for the middle of the day to go back to the resort and swim and shower and chill out, and then go experience the evening time at Animal Kingdom and then back to Magic Kingdom for fireworks. So that was nice.
Well, real quick, what did you guys think of Tiana's? Because you guys did it twice. You kind of had to bribe her. I mean, bribery is it's a parenting skill. I mean, it has to happen.
And it's acceptable too.
It works. I mean, you got to keep it in your back pocket. You
have to do it. Yeah. So she wore the poncho for the first ride down, thinking she was going to get wet, and she know what the hill looked like because we had done Splash Mountain before. And so we went to it the first time, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. I enjoyed, I don't want to spoil it alert, but I enjoyed that little surprise in the middle of the ride. Right when you get to Mama Odie coming up the hill. And I thought they did a good job with it. I thought they really did a good job. But as anything, I kind of want to report back after we ride it. I missed stuff on the first time. And so knowing we had the lightning lane for later on, she did not want to ride it when we got off, but she saw those gold coins that cost $20 for 4 coins that I didn't realize was $20. But when we came up to it, she wanted the coins. I said, Haley, if I get you these coins, we're going back on that ride again. And she looked at me like, I don't know if this is worth it. But then she ultimately she liked it the second time. We had a really good time, and we saw stuff that we didn't see the first time. So we enjoyed it. And she didn't wear the poncho the second time.
See, and in my life, the way that exchange goes lately in the fall football season is
Yeah.
dad will buy you a tank of gas if
Oh,
I can get a selfie with you at the football game. While
wonderful.
while you got your cheer uniform on.
Yeah.
So, because otherwise, oh no, she doesn't want to get a selfie with old dad. But I'm like, is it worth a tank of gas? I mean, that's gold to a 16-year-old. So
And gold to you as
yeah,
well. So,
absolutely. I just want a picture like that I existed while she was in high school, that we were together. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
like when I'm 80, I want this picture. Like, I mean, it's worth a tank of gas. Gas is expensive, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's the same thing. They were $20 gold coins, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do. It's
Do what
ridiculous.
you got to do. That's right.
Telling you, man,
It wasn't just a Mickey bar. It was
no,
$20 of gold.
dads are being extorted around America, but
Yeah.
daughters are not dumb. I'm telling you, they take us. But if we do what we gotta do. So let's take a break here before we go to Animal Kingdom, because I want to talk about kind of some of these cool things you did. Now, you guys made bracelets,
Yeah.
right? This is kind of the thing, right? Everybody's got the bracelet thing going on. So
Yeah, I
tell
got
us
mine
about this. I think it's there you go. So tell us about this. How did that go during the trip? I like this.
That was good. So with every trip, we try to do something, to really just not even honor is not the right word, but just tell the cast members we appreciate,
Okay.
making this, an awesome vacation for us. And so in the past, both Emily and Haley are Girl Scouts, and so we brought Girl Scout cookies down because
Oh,
usually we're going in February, right? I mean that's gold right there. And I always point out, I always give it after something has happened. Like I'm not like slip. It's not like the $20 bill to get the good seat at the restaurant. I'm not giving the Girl Scout cookies before they give us the extra light lane
yes.
pass. It's after something has happened, you know, after something has happened that they get. So she made all these bracelets, and like the black and orange one was a Tigger bracelet, and yellow and blue and white was a Belle, and red and white and black was Mickey, and all those. And so she made a bunch of those, and just ended up passing them out to people who checked us in. The guy who was working the gate at the resort, she gave the Tigger one to the handler for Tigger, and maybe that's why Tigger was bouncing around and everything like that. So,
I love
and
that.
then
Like, when did that idea? Is this something that I mean, like when did this idea manifest itself? Like, when did she start working on these? Because I mean, that's something you didn't do the night before. I love this idea, but I mean, I just it's interesting. Like, when did she come up with this?
she did it the weekend before, and I said it was a good idea because she would make them for people in the family. Like mine is all my sports teams, and it's
Nice.
the colors of every team that I root for, and which is a lot, and it's a lot of different colors. And but she'll everybody in our family, she's like, well, who does grandma and grandpa like, and everything like that, and so she'll make them their colors. I come from a Penn State, my family, Penn State, Villanova, Baylor's on my wife's side, and so those a lot of different colors going on there. So she's made all those bracelets for family members. I said, why don't you make Disney ones for when we go down there? And she's like, great. And she knocked them out in like 10 of them in an afternoon.
I tell her, well done. Those things are awesome. I love to
Yeah,
see that. And I'm sure those cast members will just, I mean, those little mementos, little treasures that
absolutely.
mark their time, that they're appreciated. Because one
Yeah.
thing we always say on the show is that the cast members are so appreciated
Yep.
because they are the heart and soul of the place that we love. They are the
Yeah, they're
ones
making
that make the magic. The light poles don't make the magic. The Mickey bars don't make the magic. The cast members make the magic.
that's right.
And that's a way of thanking them. So that's
And
super cool that she took the time to do that.
and,
That's
and we got the letter back from from the front desk girl.
cool.
Um,
Tell us about that, because I mean, you showed it to
yeah,
me, but you share that.
let me find it. Let me find it.
That was
Um,
like when I read it, I was like, "This is," because it shows that it goes both ways and that it is appreciated. I love that.
Yeah, so we got back to the resort. I think it was Friday night, our first night, and there was a letter there on our table. And it said the Poplowski family, and it said, "Dear Poplowskis, I sincerely enjoyed meeting you and assisting in your check-in process. I hope you had a great stay here at Port Orleans Riverside and plenty of fun at the parks. Enjoy celebrating your dad and daughter getaway at the most magical place on earth. I love the Snow White themed bracelet you made for me, Haley. Keep spreading that magic in pixie dust, future princess fairy in training." From Emma Rose, front desk concierge.
That's so
And
cool. You see, that
yeah,
is, in that cast member took the time to do that. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? That's a treasure.
yeah, it was
That is
pretty
amazing.
cool.
They're
And it was even, it was neat. As her name is Emma Rose. Our other daughter, older daughter, is Emily Rose.
Oh,
And so we thought that was really cool. You know, it was like almost the same exact first and middle name. So
that makes me happy about, just to wrap that, is that, this cast member on that shift was not just covering a shift. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Because you could go there and cover a shift for 8 hours,
yeah,
but they were making magic that
yeah,
night and that day.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? They went the extra mile because they could have just stood there and typed on the computer or played with their phone. They didn't.
yeah.
They decided to make some little girl's day, and
That's
that's
pretty cool.
and the whole families, and we're talking about on the show. So
Oh yeah.
that's excellent. By the way, you guys have matching shirts too, which I thought were cool.
Yeah. So I have a friend of mine who makes T-shirts and everything. So I think I made that design. I just sent it to him and I said, "Hey Brian, can you make these shirts for Haley and I? We're going down to Disney, and he's a Disney guy." And he said, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And he charged me like $20 to make those two shirts. And I was like, "This is great."
I don't like it, man. You were in the spirit. Okay, so back to so you're hopping now from the studio, no, where the Magic Kingdom, hopping over to do Flight of Passage over to Animal Kingdom was where we
Yeah,
left you off because I had to get that stuff in there. That's the good
yeah.
stuff. Okay, so how'd you guys get over to Animal Kingdom and all that? And how'd that go?
So one thing I really didn't care for this trip was when we left Epcot, or with the Hollywood Studios, that and we got in the car and it was hot there. It was hot. I think Ricky was down there the same weekend. It was hot, and we got in the car and Haley looked at me and she goes, "Dad, we are not taking the car anymore. We are taking the bus wherever we go." I was like, "That's fine," because it was so hot and it was just like to cool off. It took whatever 10 minutes, and so we took the bus back over. And the one thing I really didn't care for, the buses always seemed to be really packed that we were on. I always ended up standing on them, and I really like the fact, like if you're on a bus, you're just watching, different resorts, and you're going by different signs, and the parks go by, and you couldn't do that on any bus ride whatsoever. They were so packed, so it was kind of a little frustrating. But so
Yeah.
we ended up taking the bus back to Animal Kingdom. And what was really cool though about this ride, contrary to all those other rides, there was only four of us on the bus. It was 5 o'clock. The Animal Kingdom closed at 7. There was only four of us on the bus. Haley and I, another woman, and another kid in the back. Now this kid, Mike, I'm sitting in the bus stop and I'm watching him. He's got a Rubik's cube in his hand. Okay, and he's fiddling with it. And I look over, and it was all disconjointed. 10 seconds later, I look over, it was solved.
He's a
And I was
genius. Look out.
And I'm looking at him like, and it was like one of those five-sided cubes. And I'm like, so he gets on the bus with us, go over to Animal Kingdom, and my daughter and I were talking to the girl. She came into town, family's back home. It was a girls' trip, um, and everything. And and then we got to talking to the kid, and he was saying, "Yeah, I have like 150 of these, or something like that, Rubik's cubes." And he and I got to talk, and the girl, she went her way, and he said, "Oh, I'm here with my family, and I'm just going to ride Dinosaur for the last time, and everything." And I said, "Oh my gosh!" And I said, "How long have you been doing Rubik's Cube?" He's like, "Well, I'm actually in the World Championships next month in Seattle." And I'm
Oh.
like, "Are you kidding me?" And of course, we're watching him, and he literally solved a five-sided cube in seconds. Like it wasn't even a minute; it was seconds and everything. So it's one of those things. Talk to whoever you can there, because you're going to meet so many cool people and so many neat experiences. I was like, that's the coolest thing. I never got his name. I couldn't tell you what his name is, um, but it
So
was awesome.
you got not only a seat on the bus, you got a cool air conditioned
the
bus, and you got entertainment the whole way over. You got a
whole way,
magician.
the whole way over. Yeah,
Done.
done. Put it down. Lock it in. Yeah. So that was our bus ride over to Animal Kingdom. We hit the safari first. We wanted to see that. All the animals were out. There were some walking right by our car and everything like that. So that was pretty fun. And then Haley wanted to ride Flight of Passage, so we did that. And, the best ride on property.
So why do you say that's because I'm just super interested. Like that's your kind of jam, that kind of like simulator type ride.
Yeah.
You'd be all in for Disney doing more of that kind of stuff.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And it's funny because we kind of stepped it up throughout the day. We did Soarin', then we did Mission Space, then we did Star Tours, and then we did Flight of Passage, right? Which is kind of like those like simulations, the Millennium Falcon. And so it kind of stages and I think, Avatar Flight of Passage is probably the best of all of them. And I think that simulation is just unbelievable.
I wish I didn't have the motion like
I
issue
know.
in
My
those
my
type
wife
of
says the
things,
same
'cause
thing.
that one, I mean, I can do. That one doesn't get me as bad as like Guardians of the Galaxy,
Sorry.
but
Yeah.
it does make me feel off, like
Yeah.
just off enough the rest of the day that I'm just like, I regret it. But it is
What do you
cool.
think? What do you think of Ratatouille then?
I can do it. I can do Ratatouille. I think because it's moving slow enough.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that one because it's almost like a dark, just like a regular dark ride with a little
Yeah.
bit of like 3D.
Yeah.
That would take me to the point where I'm fine.
I
That's
agree, and I think the theming of that is awesome too, and that's why I regret that I missed it.
yeah. And there's more, like more practical effects really than 3D effects in that one. I think that kind of keep me there. So now, did you guys went back to the Magic Kingdom though, and saw the
So,
fireworks to wrap it up?
yeah, so we ended up getting a barbecue sandwich from Flame Tree, right as we were about to leave Animal Kingdom, and we split it and everything. And my plan was to go back and get a lobster roll at Columbia Harbor House.
Sure.
And you said the what's your go-to order is mine's a lobster roll and hush puppies, as is my wife's at Columbia Harbor House. But we got back there. And fireworks were going off at 8:30. It was 8 o'clock, so we ended up just getting some ice cream and a milkshake and watching that. And like I said, we did Haley's goal with 23 rides on the trip, and when we got back to Magic Kingdom, we were at 22.
Oh,
And so we needed at least one more, and we hit after the fireworks. We did three more rides after that, and it was great.
so I always say rides after fireworks are better. There's
Yeah,
something about, especially at the end of the trip, right? When you know you
yeah,
got to leave, like they're intense.
yeah.
What were your last three rides after the fireworks?
Well, they weren't really that intense. They
Well, I
were
mean, but it's like they're almost like bonus rides, you
they were
know?
enhanced.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's enhanced. So what were
So we
those?
did the People Mover.
That's a good ride.
Um,
There's nothing wrong with
yeah,
that. We
it
catch
was
fire
great
if
because
it wasn't a
you got
good
to see
ride. You
all
gotta
the
be careful. Tread
love it.
lightly.
Wonderful ride. Um, and then she wanted to do Tomorrowland Speedway, and I said, "Are
Oof.
you sure?" And like, and you've mentioned on the show before. I'm still flabbergasted that they don't have electric cars there, and that the
Right.
people who work that ride don't pass out from the gas fumes there.
Exactly. I
I
know it's a
mean,
push violation.
yeah. And like Haley gets in the car, she's 8, and she's gonna drive it and everything, and she had a blast with it. But she goes, Dad, I think I'm ready for my license now. I was like, Haley, you're not even close. Like you were banging all. I'm surprised you didn't hit the person in front of us, but we had a lot of fun. We laugh a lot. We had a lot of fun together with that.
That's awesome. So
Yeah.
we're
And then
getting
the
to
last
the
one was last ride was Winnie the Pooh. That was the last one.
I see a classic dark ride in Fantasyland.
Yeah,
That's a good way to
exactly.
wrap the trip. I mean, that's a good lunch
Absolutely.
ride. And you met your
Yeah.
goal. I mean, that's like, hey, goal across the
Yeah.
finish
Yeah.
line.
That's
It's good
right.
stuff. So as we wrap, I mean, what is any funny stories, any last tips for folks that are thinking about doing? I mean, I love this daddy daughter trip, mommy daughter trips could happen, mother son trips.
Yeah.
When you have an opportunity, just last minute get down there. You don't have to go for a week. You could go for 2-3 days over a weekend and just have a blast.
Yeah, yeah, we were quite exhausted. In fact, Haley kept telling me her knee was bothering her as we were walking around. And she's like your daughter. She's a gymnast. She's a ballet. She does soccer. She's pretty active. But I think Disney really did her in. Our 20,000 steps a day, really did her in. But I mean, the whole time, as long as we were all engaged, we just laughed and we had fun the whole time. And that's what it was all about. She zonked out. It's a 7-hour ride back, and she zonked out for most of it on the way back. And yeah, it was fun.
I'm glad you got to make those memories because I have a feeling, come Christmas, you'll probably still be talking about this trip, while you're
Oh,
sitting
beyond.
there having dinner, and in 5 years from now, you'll say, remember when, we had that time at I'm looking, we're not going to tell the story, but the time, the
Oh
story,
yeah,
the story you told me about, which we're not going to share.
the story I told you. Yes,
Nuts.
we will talk about that. Yes, yes. It was tentacles on an octopus. That's what it was, Haley.
Yes,
Uh,
we're gonna,
no, the exact words were, "No, Dad, I meant the tree," and
yeah.
I almost fell over laughing.
I read the story and I'm like, we're not going there because
I know,
it's
I know.
a family show, but it is a clean story, but it's so good. It's walking the line. So, because I always say the wrong word and it could come out the wrong
Yeah,
way. So we're not
that's right.
going there. But it's
That's
so
right.
funny to read. Anyway, so Kevin, man, what a great show. I mean, again, from another girl dad, I love hearing this.
Yeah.
And I encourage everybody to try something like this because
Absolutely.
it is an opportunity to bond. And you know what? I mean, we all want to go with like the entire family, right? But I mean, how cool is it though that you got to make, these memories with just, your one daughter? Because a lot of times you don't get to have that one-on-one time. I think that's pretty cool.
Now, and if I go down, I told Emily, I said, when Haley turns 10 and mom takes her on a trip, I said, if you want to go, it will be a completely different trip because Emily needs her quiet space. She needs the chill out time. She like enjoys the parades, the shows and stuff like that. And so it'll be a completely different trip and we'll have a blast in a whole different way.
Super cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin,
Now, next up is my 50th is in April and we're going to Alani for my 50th. And it falls right in the middle. My birthday falls right in the middle of their spring break week. And so the four of us are all going to Alani in April.
Aloha to you. And you got to talk to Scotty G because he fell in love with the place for his 40th.
I shall.
Okay. You have a good one and happy fall and go Penn State, I guess. For you.
Sounds great. MIZ, Mike.
ZOU. All right. Don't forget our show brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, or Adventures by Disney vacation for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click supports everything we do throughout the year. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you sincerely to our Patreon supporters. You guys make all these shows possible. Couldn't do it without you. So a huge thank you to you. You can support us as well. Just $5 a month. It's like a cup of coffee a month. And for that, you get a bonus show every week. It's called Mike in the Midwest. Coming over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give me a follow on the social media. I'm at beourguestmike on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. And we'll have a live call-in show this Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central. We open up the phone lines and you can be on the show. We talk Disney, all kinds of topics. Scotty G joins us as well. Just a ton of fun. So 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Tune in wherever you like and give us a call. Finally, we want to see you in the clubhouse. This is our chat room, our message boards. It's kind of an amalgamation of everything. We talk Disney 24/7, 365 over there. About 1,200 listeners hanging out there all the time. So coming over, it's beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. All right, we're going to jump out of here until we get back together again on Wednesday with your listener questions. So for Kevin down in Atlanta, I'm Mike here in Missouri. You guys have a great week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Boom. That was fun.
That was good. Thank you.
I'll tell a story. I'm like, I'm not going to because I don't have to.
That's right. You never know where it could go.
Exactly. Because I always say, I would have said the other one. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. Anyway. All right. Well, I am going to duck out of here, edit this thing and try to catch up with my wife if she's home. I'm not sure if she is or not, but I'll check. You got
homecoming stuff going on.
I do. I do. All right.
Yeah, we just got the notification school's canceled tomorrow, so we got to go figure that out now.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Mercy. See, when I was a teacher, that was a good thing.
I know. Yeah, not when you work at a clinic. No.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, good talking to you, buddy. You take care. Thanks again for the time.
Too, Mike.
I appreciate it. All right. You too. Bye-bye.